So what I hear a lot from my sellers, no matter what type of market we're in, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, I hear that sellers are afraid to list at a certain time because they might be afraid that they're going to leave some money on the table. So if the market is becoming a buyer's market, sellers are telling me that they're afraid that they miss the height of the market and that if they list right now, that they might be leaving too much money on the table and that they should actually wait and list in a couple years. The problem with this theory is that we don't know what the market is going to do. So say like you wait 1 year and the market isn't really coming back. You may be leaving more money on the table than if you just went ahead and sold when you first thought about selling your home. So the way I see it is, if you continue to wait to put your house on the market, you could actually be leaving more money on the table than you think. We have no idea the next time we're going to see 27% equity gains over 2 years period time. So as you can see, this is how you could possibly be leaving more money on the table by waiting to list your home. So let me explain this a little deeper. Let's say you have a home that you're discussing with a real estate consultant about listing, and they tell you that they think you should list your house at about $600,000, and this was at the end of last year. And you decided to wait to see what the market was going to do. Now you're being told to list that same house at $500,000. So just waiting a few months can actually make you lose or leave $50,000 to $100,000 on the table when the market is shifting. If you're in a more stable market, of course you have a little more leeway there. But if you are in a shifting market, it is very important to really think about how soon you would be wanting to sell if you put off selling right now. And to that point, this causes another problem. So let's say that same seller that was being told to sell their home at $600,000 wants to buy a home that is worth $1.2 million, and they have to make a certain amount off of the sale of their home. Now that they've waited too long and have to put their house on the market for $500,000, they can no longer afford the home they were trying to purchase unless that seller decides to come down in their price, which is something you should keep in mind, because if you are wanting to purchase a certain home, but you need to make a certain price on your home and the market is shifting, the price of the home you're wanting to buy should also be coming down as well if they have reasonable sellers and an educated real estate consultant advising them. But that doesn't always mean that the seller is going to listen and actually come down in price, because a lot of times during a shifting market, what we see as professionals is that sellers get really confused and stubborn with the way that they want to price or even negotiate the sale of their home. I actually just had this happen to me this week where we finally got an offer on a home and they just couldn't come to terms over $50,000. I know $50,000 is a lot, but when you're talking about the $1.1 million range and a shifting market, my advice to my clients was that $50,000 was probably not worth letting the whole deal go away, because in a shifting market, it's really hard to find buyers that are willing to pay premium prices for a listing. And this home was actually priced at a premium. It deserved it, but it was listed at a premium. And so the odds of getting a second offer that's equal or higher to that are very, very low at this point. So don't be that seller. Which leads me to my next point. I've actually seen some scenarios where people have purchased a home and within a couple of years, the market shifts and prices drop. Or even worse yet, I've seen people who have purchased new builds and paid height of the market prices, and as they close, they don't see it, but the market is actually on its way shifting, and so they're already closed, and then they start seeing their prices drop even more, because with a new build, generally speaking, you're paying a little bit more of a premium for those homes than you would on a resale, and builders are setting those prices to climb each phase. So when those prices drop, I've seen some homeowners very frustrated with their situation. So now you have a homeowner that has a house that's worth less than what they purchased it for, which is exactly what we saw in the great real estate crash of 2008. I'm about to explain a scenario, and I do understand that if you don't have a lot of equity in your home, this scenario does not pertain to you. But if you did happen to put a lot of money down on a house that you end up losing money on, that you have to sell for a lot lower than what you purchased it for, please try to remember that when you sell low, you're also buying low. So I have a lot of sellers that say, the market is down, I don't want to sell, what am I going to do? But if you're selling in a low market and buying in a low market, it's an exchange. It's an even exchange. You can actually do a move-up purchase a lot easier in this type of market than you can in an up market or even a balanced market. So I'm actually going to use my personal house that I had back in, I think I bought it in 2006 and I sold it in 2012. So I owned it throughout the crash. I purchased that home for $1.2 million at the height of the market. I was the fourth person to move into this community. And by the time 2012 came around, when I decided to bail on my property, I had to sell it for $660,000. That killed me. My heart sunk when I found out what my house was worth compared to what I paid for it. But everything does have a silver lining, because after I sold that house, I was actually able to purchase a lot in one of the most exclusive communities in Las Vegas, the Ridges, and I bought a lot that was originally worth about $1 million for about $350,000. So do you see what I mean when I say that if you sell in a low market, you're also purchasing in a low market? Because there's no way I would have been able to afford that $1 million lot in the Ridges at its full price. But when the market went down and the price of the lot went down to $350,000, then I could actually afford it, even though I lost $360,000 on the home that I sold. In my opinion, and I know everybody has their own opinion, there's a lot of them out there, but I think that money is made in real estate when the market is down. And many investors actually agree with me. I know that you're probably not an investor, but investors follow market trends so they know the best times to buy. And that's why investors start purchasing real estate when the market's down. That custom home that I just told you about, I actually ended up selling it 3 years later and was able to make $1 million profit on that house. And of course, we go full circle with that. In a seller's market, I've actually had sellers who can sell their homes for top dollar, express concern to me that if they have to sell their home at top dollar, then the house they want to purchase is actually at top dollar as well. So that they're now stuck in their listing because they feel like they can't spend that much money on their new home. But again, I try to remind everyone, if you're selling in a high market, you're going to buy in a high market. It kind of makes it an even exchange. Now, you might not be able to do that move up that I was just talking about in a buyer's market, but you will be able to make lateral moves and you will be able to purchase in the same market price that you're selling in, unless you're willing to sell and sit in a rental until prices come down and then you purchase. These are different options that you have to see and think about when you are talking about selling your home and trying to make the decision of whether or not you should stay put or go ahead and put your house on the market. Before I move on to the reasons why you should not sell your home, let me introduce myself. My name is Lisa Lopez, and I'm a real estate consultant in the Las Vegas area, specializing in luxury real estate. I have a passion of helping families just like you achieve the American dream of home ownership. For more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell to get notified every time I drop a new video. So let's be honest. I know life is not all sunshine and rainbows, and not every scenario warrants selling your house right now. And because I always want to be 100% honest with you and give you a full picture, so I'm going to be going over some scenarios where it may not be the right time to sell your home. Earlier, I talked about a scenario where a buyer was purchasing a new build home, and at the time that they went to contract, the prices of homes were still increasing. But by the time they went to close on their house, the market had shifted, prices had come down, and now they were purchasing a home for a price that was higher than the house was actually worth. In this type of scenario, the homeowner is most likely upside down in what they owe on their home and what it's worth. And in this type of situation, I highly recommend that you do not sell your home. Unless you are needing to move for a very specific reason, maybe a job relocation, or you've lost a job, or something of that sort, then I recommend selling. But in most of these cases, I would recommend that the homeowner hold on to the home as long as they can until the market shifts. I also don't recommend selling your home if you're not in the position to price your home within market value. If you're looking at your house like it's a gem, but your real estate consultant is telling you otherwise, and they're showing you through comps that your home should be priced lower than what you think your home should be priced at, I don't think you should sell your home. I think that you should wait and follow some market trends to decide when it's time for you to enter the market. But if you are not reasonable on your listing price, unless it's a seller's market, then I don't think you should sell your home. You will be hurting your listing, and you'll only cause yourself more grief because you'll have to prepare your listing to be shown, which is a pain for a lot of people. And you will have to go through all the hoops of your house being on the market for no reason at all, because the people that come through are going to want to write a reasonable offer on your home, and you will not be ready to accept it. So in this case, I strongly advise that you don't list your home. Earlier, when I talked about sellers being scared that they wouldn't make enough money on the sale of their house to afford the house that they wanted, in this situation, I highly recommend that the seller look into this transaction a little bit deeper. What do I mean by that? I mean that if the homes you're looking at to purchase are so expensive that it tightens your budget and you have to be priced really high on the listing of your home to afford the new home, then I recommend to my sellers to hold off a second on listing their home. Let's go out in the market and see what's available in the price ranges that they can afford, to see if there's something that they even like in the lower price range. I know this sounds counterproductive for a real estate agent because my job is selling homes, but I want to be honest with you. So if you're not realistic about the listing price of your house, and the listing price has to be achieved to get that more expensive home, but you are not realistically going to get that price, then when you do sell your home, or when you do get an offer on your home, you're going to end up not taking that offer because you won't be able to afford the lifestyle that you're trying to move up to. So unless you can really find that lifestyle in the lower budget, then I recommend you reconsider your move. So if you're asking me personally if I would buy or sell my home today, my answer is I would most definitely sell my home or buy a home today. And the reason I say this is because the same thing I explained earlier in this video. If you're selling in a down market, you're buying in a down market. And if you're selling in an up market, you're buying in an up market. And the biggest reason why I still say it's okay to buy or sell today is because each transaction is an individual transaction, and everyone has a different reason why they want or need to sell. So because of those personal reasons, I feel like the answer to your question of why are you selling will actually answer the question of should you sell now or not. But of course, my biggest piece of advice to all of you out there that are considering selling or not, is that you find yourself an educated real estate professional who has experience in all markets and understands both the buy side and the sell side, and that he or she can help navigate you through this process. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of this video, and to find out more about the real estate market, be sure to check out my playlist. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified every time I drop a new video. See you on the next one.